Waitress vs. Billionaire, that photo is my MOM. Shocking truth will haunt you forever. In a bustling New York diner, the sound of sizzling bacon drowned out the chatter of early morning patrons. But then, there was a single, blood-curdling scream. Claire, a waitress with dreams bigger than her tiny paycheck, stood frozen, clutching a coffee pot. The flickering fluorescent lights above made the moment feel even more surreal. Her heart raced as she turned, and there it was, a photo on a smartphone screen, glowing bright in the hands of a wealthy man in an expensive suit. A photo that would change everything. The content of that image was too shocking to absorb all at once. It looked just like her mother, Clara, who had spent decades serving coffee and smiles in this very diner. The resemblance was uncanny, the same fiery hair, the same mischievous grin. But it was the caption that sent waves of confusion crashing through her mind: missing. Last seen with billionaire Tom Stratton. Who was this man that somehow had ties to her past? Claire's head spun. Her mother had told stories of better days, of lives lived before the diner, but this was something entirely different. As whispers circulated among customers, the tension grew thicker. Eyes darted between Claire and Tom. He seemed unfazed, leaning back in his chair with a smug grin, like he was watching a reality show unravel. Murmurs filled the room. What does he want with her? Is that really her mother? People leaned in, trying to grasp the magnitude of the moment. A young couple in the corner huddled together, exchanging incredulous glances, while an older gentleman shook his head, disapproving of the chaos. Hey, before we continue with this amazing story, I need to give you an important heads up. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube unsubscribed them without warning. Take a quick second to check the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I'd hate for you to miss any of the exclusive content coming soon. And while you're there, smash that like button, it really helps me out with the algorithm. Oh, and tell me in the comments, which city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who's part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's connect. The diner felt like a pressure cooker as Claire's mind raced. What if this man held the answers to questions she had buried deep within herself? What if he knew why her mother had left behind so many unanswered mysteries? Each second felt like an hour. Her hands trembled, and every gaze in the room felt like it weighed a ton. It was an impossible choice. She could pounce on this opportunity, confront the billionaire and demand answers, or return to the safety of her predictable life. Underneath the noise, a fragile hope whispered that maybe she could unearth the truth about her mother, transforming her silent longing into solid reality. But could she really face the man who seemed to radiate wealth and power? As her resolve built, Claire took a deep breath and stepped towards Tom, heart pounding, ready to uncover a truth that promised to haunt her forever. But would it lead to liberation or a darker secret lurking in the shadows? Claire's heart thundered in her chest as she approached Tom Stratton. Every step felt heavier than the last, the cacophony of the diner fading into a dull roar, her focus narrowing solely on the man who had unwittingly dragged her into this chaos. What did he know? What had he done? The weight of her unanswered questions pressed down on her like a 1,000-pound anchor. Tom looked up, his expression a mix of amusement and curiosity, as if she was the latest contestant on his twisted game show. Well, if it isn't the determined daughter, he said, his voice smooth and condescending. What would you like to ask? His words cut deeper than she expected. A lump formed in her throat, but she pushed it down. Who are you? The question escaped her lips stronger than she felt inside. She needed this. No, she deserved this. I'm just a businessman with a penchant for collecting stories, he replied, lazily swirling the ice in his drink. And your mother? She was quite the story. A murmur rippled through the diner. Eyes were glued to them now, tension palpable as other patrons leaned in, straining to catch every word. Claire felt the weight of their gazes as if they were shields and swords. What do you mean? What happened to her? Tom leaned forward, the grin unsettling. Your mother was a star, Claire. Not just in the diner. There was a life out there she didn't tell you about. Glamour, power, excitement until it all went dark. I was there when it slipped away. Clay's stomach knotted, a mixture of anger and dread coursing through her veins. What are you saying? That she abandoned me? Abandoned us? Isn't that what you've always wondered? He shot back, eyes narrowing, a predator sizing up his prey. A shiver ran down Claire's spine. This wasn't just a conversation, it was a battle of wills. Somewhere in the corner, an elderly woman whispered to her husband, "Poor girl, she doesn't know anything." A part of Claire wanted to scream at them to stop focusing on her pain, but another part welcomed the attention that justified her feelings. "You don't know anything about my mother." She shot back, her voice wavering between fear and defiance. "You think I would believe any nonsense you spin? You're a stranger." The smirk faded from Tom's face, replaced by something darker. "Am I? Then what is the significance of this?" He raised the smartphone, displaying the photo again, the lights reflecting off the screen as if they were the shards of a broken mirror. Claire recoiled, eyes darting to the faces of the onlookers. Every breath felt suffocating. "Where is she? What did you do to her?" Tom's demeanor shifted, and for a moment, he appeared dangerously serious. "You're in way over your head, Claire. She was part of something bigger than you can imagine. And if you dig too deep, you might destroy everything you believe in." A chill crept into her bones. The stakes were rising faster than she could follow. The cryptic warning lingered in the air, thick and suffocating. Before she could summon her next question, the door of the diner swung open violently, revealing a figure silhouetted against the bright New York morning. Claire's breath caught as the figure stepped inside, a look of determination etched on their face. "Claire!" The voice rang out, and she turned, heart racing again. Was it someone from her past? An ally? Or something more sinister? "Who is that?" Tom's voice was suddenly low, a warning wrapping itself around the words. The clock was ticking. Claire could feel it. Secrets lay in the shadows, and with them, the chance to unravel the truth. But at what cost? Would she step deeper into the darkness, or was it time to turn back? The figure took one step closer, and the entire diner held its breath, waiting for the act to unfold. The figure pushed through the crowd, determination lighting up their eyes like the sun breaking through clouds. Claire's heart raced, her mind racing with a million possibilities. It was someone familiar, she was sure of it, but she couldn't make sense of it in that fraught moment. "Claire!" The voice called again, sharper now, slicing through the tension. It was the voice of Zoe, a childhood friend, someone who'd known her when life was quieter, less chaotic. Zoe? Claire's heart skipped, the name spilling from her lips like a lifeline thrown into turbulent waters. "Get away from him!" Zoe shouted, her hands balled into fists as she stood just a few feet away. The contrast of her fierce expression against the backdrop of shocked diner patrons was striking. Tom's face darkened, his amusement replaced with something far more sinister. "And who is this? Your little cheerleader?" He sneered. "It doesn't matter." Zoe shot back, her gaze narrowing at Tom. "What matters is what you think you're doing to her." Claire felt the weight lift slightly, but uncertainty crept back in. "Zoe, I need to understand. I need to know what he is saying about Mom." Zoe's eyes flickered to Claire's, softening momentarily. "You don't need to listen to him, Claire. He is dangerous." "Dangerous?" Tom's laughter echoed through the diner, cold and calculated. "You have no idea what you're dealing with." The diners were now on the edge of their seats, whispers weaving through the room like a swift wind. Murmurs of "she deserves to know," and "what is going on?" bounced off the walls, amplifying the tension. Tom leaned back, crossing his arms, surveying the scene with a self-satisfied grin. "Why don't we let Claire decide? The truth comes at a cost, and I'm here to collect." "No one is paying you anything," Zoe demanded, stepping closer to Claire, her body tense, ready to protect her friend from this ruthless man. Can you promise me the same? Tom challenged, leveling his gaze on Zoe. The truth will sink your ship faster than you can raise the anchor. What is that supposed to mean? Claire's voice broke through the charged air, anger and fear colliding inside her. For a moment, Tom appeared to consider, weighing the risks. It means, Claire, you have a choice. You can turn away and save yourself from the muck or dive headfirst into a world that could shatter your very existence. Claire felt the anger boiling in her veins. You think you can intimidate me? You don't know me. Tom leaned back, an impressed eyebrow raised. Oh, but I know more than you think, like how long you'll last here once this spills over. Secrets aren't just whispers, they burn. Zoe grabbed Claire's hand, the urgency in her grip sending a jolt of clarity. We need to go, Claire. Now. Where? Claire's voice wavered as hope clashed with fear. Where can we go that he can't find us? Tom's laughter rose again, thick with menace. You think you can outrun this? You're already tangled in a web you can't escape. The tension twisted tighter as patrons began to rise from their seats, their curiosity morphing into fear. Claire's breath quickened as she began to see the truth. This was no longer just about her mother. This was about survival. Take the photo, Claire, Zoe urged, glancing at Tom. It's proof. Find the answers before it's too late. Claire's eyes darted back to Tom, who simply grinned, exposing the cruel edge of a piano wire smile. Do what you will, he said, his voice dropping to a chilling whisper. But remember, not all stories end well. The door swung closed behind Zoe, cutting off the light and trapping them in the diner where shadows now loomed. Claire felt the room constrict around her, the weight of the moment heavy and suffocating. What will you do, Claire? Tom's voice cut through the instability, taunting her with the truth that lay ahead. Will you chase your mother's ghost or run from the darkness that follows? Claire's pulse thundered in her ears as she faced her reality, torn between the past and the dangerous future looming over her like a storm cloud. Could she confront the secrets, or were some truths better left buried? And just as she opened her mouth to respond, the electricity in the air shifted, and she knew whatever decision she made next would echo beyond the suffocating walls of the diner. The minute Zoe exited, the diner felt like a pressure cooker, the air thick with unresolved questions. Claire could feel beads of sweat forming on her brow. The clinking of silverware faded into a distant hum, and all she could hear was the pounding of her own heart against her chest. She shot a glance at Tom, whose smirk was now an unsettling mask of anticipation. What's the matter, Claire? Tom leaned forward, his silhouette stark against the dim light of the diner. You look like you've just seen a ghost. Or maybe you're realizing that you are one. Just floating through your life, unaware. Stop it. She shot back, fists clenching at her sides. But inside, her trembling hands betrayed her resolve. The truth, whatever it was, loomed over her like a dark curtain ready to drop. Let's make this simple, he said, his voice a soft hiss that sent chills down her spine. You could have everything you need. All the answers you've been so desperately seeking if you're willing to pay the price. What price? Claire felt like a moth drawn to the flame. Curiosity tugged at her, but it was mingled with fear. A truth that could shatter you, he said, straightforward and cold, or save you from a life of ignorance. He stood tall, a towering figure eclipsing her with his confidence. The diner patrons were no longer whispering, they were watching, waiting for her next move like it was a game. The temperature in the room dropped, and Claire felt all eyes on her, probing, speculating. Listen, Claire, Tom continued, his tone shifting to a sweetness that felt more like venom than kindness. Your mother, she was tangled up in things far worse than you could imagine. You really want to chase her shadow? I can save you the effort. Maybe I want to find out for myself. She shot back, defiance flaring up in her chest, even as dread seeped in at his words. That he laughed again, a sound devoid of warmth. And then what? You wake up, and it hits you, sometimes, ignorance is bliss. Sometimes, not knowing is the best way to survive. A sense of truth in his words twisted her stomach. Could she handle whatever he had to say? But she also knew, she wasn't about to back down. Not now, not after everything. Just tell me. She shouted, frustration piercing through her fear. What do you know about my mother? Tom's expression turned serious, though a hint of amusement sparkled in his eyes. You really want to know the biggest secret surrounding your mother? He leaned in closer, his breath chilling. She wasn't the victim you thought she was. Oh no, sweet Claire, she was at the center of this all, a player, not just a pawn. Gasps emanated from the onlookers, and Claire's heart raced. A bubbling, swirling vortex of emotions spiraled within her, anger, fear, disbelief. She wasn't just someone to be saved, she was the one doing the saving, or rather, the hurting, Tom continued, his words cutting like glass. I can show you the truth, I can let you see it for yourself, but you have to understand there's darkness in the light, Claire. The room seemed to close in on her as she battled with this revelation. Did she dare delve further into the shadows? Chasing the ghost of a mother she thought she understood could mean uncovering horrific truths. Claire knew she was standing at a precipice, with her next decision fated to change everything. Then tell me. I'll face whatever it is, she declared, her voice resolute, though her heart trembled. The light flickered in the diner, and Tom's grin widened, revealing the abyss behind his charm. Prepare yourself, Claire. This is just the beginning. As the weight of his words wrapped around her, she wondered, what lay on the other side of the darkness? And was she brave enough to walk through it? In that moment, with her world dangling in the balance, the diner door swung open again, letting in a gust of cool air that chilled more than just her skin. Someone new had arrived, and she felt the tension escalate once more. What would they reveal? The moment the door swung open, Claire's breath caught in her throat. A shadowy figure stood silhouetted against the bright exterior light, a tall woman, her features obscured but unmistakably striking. Claire squinted, her heart pounding erratically, half expecting the apparition to be another ghost from her mother's past. This was no ghost. This was real. Is this seat taken? The woman's voice was smooth, confident, yet somehow unsettling. With an effortless grace, she strode toward them, her heels clicking sharply against the linoleum floor. Tom's demeanor shifted, the smirk fell from his face as the woman approached. He straightened, feigning casualness, but it was clear he recognized her, knew who she was. Claire's thoughts spun wildly. Who was she? What connection did she have to Tom or her mother? As the woman settled into a booth across from Tom, Claire felt the air thicken, tension bubbling just beneath the surface. Claire took a step forward, her voice firmer than she felt. Who are you? The woman turned her gaze toward her, steely and piercing. Let's just say I'm a friend of your mother's or something like that. The revelation landed hard, and Claire's stomach twisted. What do you know about her? Everything you've been too scared to uncover, but it won't come cheap. The woman's lips curled into a knowing smile, and Claire could feel the disapproval rippling through the crowd. Whispers erupted, unease flaring like an electric current. Tom shot her a look, one that said this was part of the game, he was playing a chess match with high stakes. But Claire wasn't about to step back now. The truth was within reach, swirling just out of grasp, and she could almost feel its weight. Why are you here? Claire pressed, her heart hammering a wild rhythm against her ribs. What did she have to do with any of this? You think you have the heart to bear the truth? People have walked into fires for less. The woman leaned in, her voice low, almost challenging. Your mother was no victim, Claire. She fought battles you can't even imagine. And she did it for reasons you wouldn't dare accept. Claire's chest tightened. I want to accept it. Just tell me what I need to know. Her urgency spilled into her words, it felt like spinning her own web of desperation, and she was willing to be ensnared. That's the spirit, the woman said, a hint of sarcasm lacing her tone. But understand, the closer you get to this truth, the more you may wish for ignorance. There are consequences, people you'll hurt, people you'll lose. She let that hang in the air, the weight of her warning heavy and foreboding. Claire felt the flickering lights overhead dim even lower, casting shadows that danced on the cracked vinyl of the diner seats. Tom rested his elbows on the table, watching Claire with an intensity that was impossible to ignore. "You're at a turning point, Claire. Do you really want to follow this rabbit hole? It can lead you to the answers, but maybe not the ones you expect." The words wrapped around Claire like a noose. Everything she had believed about her mother was shifting, like sand slipping through her fingers. "I'm ready. I have to know." The woman nodded, her eyes glinting with a mix of approval and caution. "Then let us start with the first revelation. Your mother's last words, they were not meant for you. They were meant for someone else entirely." A gasp echoed from the patrons nearby, as if a collective breath had been held too long. Claire's heart sank, her mind racing a mile a minute. What had her mother done? What had been left unsaid? Just before the woman could continue, the clatter of silverware interrupted. A server dropped a tray, the sound piercing through the tension. All eyes turned, distraction briefly lifting the weight of revelation. "Let me ask you one final time," the woman said, her voice steady. "Are you really ready for the truth?" Claire took a deep breath, feeling the gravity of the moment wrap around her. "Yes, tell me everything." As she spoke, the door banged open once more, a gust of wind rushing through the diner, and in stepped a figure Claire never expected to see. Now she stood on the edge of fate, the path widening beneath her feet. Could this new arrival change the entire course of her search? Or would the darkness still swallow her whole? What awaited her in this tangled web of shadows? The figure that stepped through the door was unmistakable, Claire's mother. Not the ghostly, fragmented memory she cherished, but flesh and blood, every detail sharper than ever. Claire jerked back, her breath catching again, and uncertainty flooded her. "Mom." Claire's voice was barely a whisper, a plea for reassurance in a chaotic whirlwind. Her mother, looking worn yet striking, stood frozen in the entrance. A mix of surprise and dread washed over her face. Claire, the woman in the booth, leaned back, a hint of amusement lighting her eyes. "Looks like we have more than just one surprise tonight." Claire's heart raced. Time folded in on itself, the moment felt unreal, hanging in the balance. She thought of the revelations waiting to unfold, of the tangled secrets she had dug at for so long. "What are you doing here?" Her mother's gaze shifted from Claire to the woman in the booth, recognition dawning, followed by a flicker of fear. "I didn't expect you shouldn't be here." "Yet, here I am," the woman said, a triumphant smirk on her lips. Tom leaned toward Claire, his eyes wide with disbelief, whispering urgently, "This just got messy. You need to stay focused." "Stay focused?" Anger welled in Claire's chest like molten lava. "This is my mother. I have a right to know why she is here." "Claire, please." Her mother's voice quivered, and for a fleeting moment, Claire saw the look of a terrified deer caught in headlights. "Not now. Not now." Claire echoed, incredulous. "It's never been more now than it is right now." That last word hung like lead in the air as the simmering tension morphed into a volatile storm. The diner's patrons suddenly shifted, leaning in, straining to catch every hushed syllable. The clattering of forks and knives faded, leaving only the pounding in Claire's ears. With one swift motion, her mother closed the distance, urgency threading her words. "Listen to me. You're not ready for this. There are things you don't understand. Then help me understand. You can't just show up after all those years and expect me to accept it." "Oh God, Claire," her mother murmured, eyes glistening. "You have no idea what's at stake." "I did what I thought was best for you," the woman in the booth interjected, her voice slicing through their emotional exchange. "Time is running short. Claire needs to choose." Tom's gaze darted between the three women. "You're stepping back into a world full of danger, Claire. You must decide now." "Decide?" Claire felt a wave of emotion crash over her, a mixture of fury, confusion, love, and betrayal swirling chaotic like a tempest. She wanted answers. Needed them. But at what cost? Your mother's last words. The woman's tone shifted, becoming almost sinister. They were meant to protect you from truths that could destroy everything you hold dear. But destroy them or reveal them? Claire shot back, her fists clenched. The atmosphere crackled with palpable energy, as if the very walls of the diner could feel the stakes rising. All eyes were fixed on her, the tension a tightrope stretched to its limit. At that moment, Claire realized this was no ordinary decision. It was a precipice she stood upon, the ground volatile beneath her feet. "Tell me everything," she said at last, her voice tremulous but resolute. "I won't run from it." "I can't." "Very well," the woman replied with a smile that sent chills down Claire's spine. "But remember, knowledge can be as much a curse as a blessing." A clammy hand grasped Claire's arm. Her mother's expression turned frantic, and suddenly, the lights overhead flickered. "No. Claire, don't." Her mother screamed, but it was too late. Claire felt a surge of courage rising, ready to confront the storm for better or for worse. As the diner lights sputtered, the shadows in the corners stretched and twisted like living nightmares. The woman surveyed the chaos with amusement, her eyes sparkling with anticipation. What truths awaited her on this path of revelation? And would the light she chased lead to safety or damnation? Claire could scarcely breathe. The answers loomed, but at what price? The door swung open once more, a deafening crash echoing through the diner. Claire braced herself, knowing the next twist would irrevocably alter everything. Who would stand with her, and who would fall away? The battle lines were drawn, and the consequences lurked just outside the threshold. The door slammed against the wall, sending clattering dishes and startled gasps rippling through the diner. Claire barely had time to process the abrupt entrance before the shadows coalesced into a ghastly figure, an imposing man cloaked in darkness, his eyes glimmering like chips of ice. "Claire," her mother hissed, stepping protectively in front of her, as if to shield her from the encroaching storm. "You have to go now." The newcomer sneered, the corner of his mouth curling as he surveyed the room, his presence suffocating. "Is that any way to greet an old friend?" His voice dripped with sarcasm as he focused on Claire's mother. Claire's heart raced, each beat echoing louder than the last. "Who is he?" Her voice was barely audible, nearly drowned out by the hushed murmurs that had erupted among the diner's patrons. "Someone you can't trust," her mother snapped, shooting Claire a desperate look. "You need to leave. This is not a conversation for your ears." Too late for that, the man interrupted, his laughter chilling. "She's already part of the game, and the stakes have never been higher." With each word, the air thickened, wrapping around Claire like a suffocating blanket. What game? What stakes? She felt trapped, caught in the crossfire of a past she didn't fully understand but was now thrust back into. Tom shifted beside her, glancing nervously at the door, as if weighing their options. "We have to get out now, Claire. This isn't safe." Claire looked between her mother and the man, desperation clawing at her chest. "You can't make me leave without telling me what is going on." "Listen to him, Claire." Her mother's voice cracked with urgency. "He's here because of mistakes I made, and they're about to swallow us whole." "What do you mean?" Claire demanded. "Just tell me the truth. You think you're ready for the truth?" The man stepped closer, eyes narrowing. "You don't understand what you're asking for. You don't know who your mother really is or who you are." That statement landed like a bombshell, each word reverberating in Claire's mind. "What do you mean?" For a moment, silence engulfed the diner. Patrons exchanged murmurs, their curiosity turning to dread. Claire locked eyes with her mother, searching for anything to keep her grounded. Her mother's expression turned to pleading, but the man, emboldened by the tense atmosphere, pressed on. "Your mother hid things from you, Claire. Big things." "What things?" Claire gasped, stepping forward, her hands trembling. Family secrets, he grinned, savoring the taste of unease in the air. Her past isn't just a story, it's a tangled web of power, deception and danger. And you're right in the middle of it. A sizzling tension hung heavy in the air, and Claire's mind raced. Could it be true? Was her life, her entire identity, based on lies? The walls of the diner seemed to close in as her past clashed with this unfolding nightmare. You need to leave, her mother implored again, her panic palpable. I can't let him use you. Not now. But it was too late. Claire made a choice in that instant. No more running. If you want to play games, then let us play. The man's laughter echoed viciously through the diner, filling the space with a sense of doom. Then let the games begin, he said. Suddenly, the diner lights flickered wildly again, almost as if reflecting the turmoil inside Claire. The shadows danced menacingly, threatening to engulf everything in darkness. With each passing second, anxiety coiled tighter in her chest, a dark promise of consequences yet to unfold. What had she awakened? What corners of her mother's past lay buried beneath the surface, waiting to trap her? The rain began to pound against the windows like frantic drumming, drowning out the gasps and whispers. Claire stood alone at the center of the chaos, knowing that a reckoning was on the horizon. Relationships would be tested, truths exposed, and in this game, no one was guaranteed to survive. As the storm outside raged, Claire felt the storm within brewing to life. Would she be ready for whatever flickered in the dim light of revelation? Before she could brace herself for what was to come, the man took a step closer. Let us start with the first truth about your father. And with those words, Claire held her breath, teetering on the edge of fate, ready to plunge into the depths of a history that might destroy her or finally set her free. The man's words hung in the air like a storm cloud, heavy and charged with electricity. Claire's heart pounded in her chest, each thud thrumming through her veins as she struggled to comprehend the implications. My father? She echoed, the name a foreign whisper curling on her tongue. Yes, he replied, his voice a low hiss that cut through the din of shocked breaths around them. Your father, the one you think isn't relevant to your life. But Claire, he's the reason why everything is spiraling. What are you talking about? Her voice trembled. All eyes in the diner were on her now, a sea of bewildered faces reflecting her own confusion. She felt the heat rise in her cheeks, the pressure of their gazes pressing down. Let the girl speak. Tom interjected, stepping between Claire and this looming figure with a surge of bravado. How can you come in here and just know? Claire interrupted, shaking her head in defiance. He's right. I need to know. The man smiled at her, a predator savoring his meal before the kill. Then prepare yourself, because the truth is darker than you can imagine. Her mother stepped forward, desperation filling her eyes. Claire, please. I've kept you safe from this. Safe? Claire clenched her fists, anger coursing through her. You think shielding me from the truth is keeping me safe? I've been living a lie. Sometimes lies are a blessing, her mother replied, her voice catching. It's not just about you, it's about everything we've fought to protect. Protect from what? Claire demanded. The very foundation of her world felt like it was crumbling around her, the diner's dim lights flickering above, jumping in sync with her rising anxiety. With every passing moment, Claire's hope for clarity dwindled. She looked to the man, who had taken another step forward, the shadows twisting around him like a cloak woven from her fears. What do you know about my father? More than you, I'd wager. He leaned in closer, his cold eyes locking onto hers. He was a powerful man, tangled in dealings that made him enemies, and those enemies turned their sights on your family when he vanished. The word vanished struck Claire like a blow, the pulsing chaos drowning the diner faded into a muted roar. Vanished? You mean he-s? The question is not whether he-s gone or not, but whether you want to find out what he did that got your family into this mess. The weight of those words settled over her, suffocating and intoxicating. Was she ready to dive headfirst into this twisted game of shadows? Could she face whatever truth awaited? Claire, no, her mother pleaded, her voice breaking with intensity. You don't want to know. You'll wish you didn't. Try me, Claire shot back, her resolve growing stronger. Keep pushing, and the darkness will swallow you whole, the man warned, an eerie calm settling over him. But it's your choice. This game you want to play? It requires blood. The temperature in the diner dropped, as if his words cast a cold shadow over the room. Claire shivered, the weight of choice pressing down upon her like unyielding gravity. Tom, get everyone out, Claire commanded, her voice shaking but resolute. This doesn't involve them. What? Tom looked at her in disbelief. You can't be serious. You don't know what he is capable of. But Claire wasn't listening. She felt a fire within her, it was born out of fear but fueled by a determination that surged with each beat of her heart. They deserve to be safe. This is my fight. The man watched her intently, a glimmer of approval in his frozen gaze. This is the bravery I like to see. But remember, bravery can also be a foolish gamble. With the sound of thunder crashing outside, Claire found herself stepping toward the danger. Let's make this interesting then. What's the next move? He grinned wickedly, the promise of dark truths curling his lips. You're going to wish you never asked. Just then, the lights flickered once more, casting shadows that reached out like fingers hungry for her decision. And as the wind howled outside, Claire felt the icy grip of destiny latching onto her, pulling her deeper into the web of her mother's secrets and her father's legacy. What would emerge from the darkness? What was the first thread she would pull? As she braced herself, the weight of the moment felt surreal. And just like that, she stood at the precipice ready to uncover the storm that lay ahead. Let's begin with your mother's secret life, he said, and in that moment, a single truth pierced the air. What lay in the shadowy depths of her family's legacy? Would she have the courage to face it? The man's words twisted like a knife in Claire's gut, each syllable echoing through the diner until they settled into an oppressive silence. Her mother's face blanched, and Claire's heart raced, caught in a storm of confusion and dread. My mother? Yes, the man repeated, his voice thick with malice. I trust she hasn't told you the whole story. Claire's gaze snapped to her mother, searching for answers. The confusion in her mother's eyes deepened, fear pulsed in the lines of her face. This isn't the time, Claire, her mother said, desperation lacing her tone. You're not ready for this. Not ready? Claire nearly shouted, casting a glance around the diner as if she were sharing the weight of her anger with the other patrons. How could I ever be ready for anything if I'm kept in the dark? The atmosphere grew charged, a palpable tension tightening the air. The man stepped closer, his presence overwhelming, eyes glinting with delight in the chaos he had unleashed. Your mother's secret life is what brought your father's enemies to your doorstep. And now it's about to consume you both. What did she do? Claire pressed, unable to pull her eyes from that wicked smile. Her mother shook her head, tears brimming in her eyes. I did what I had to do to protect you. We had a life, Claire, a normal life before he came along. The memories flashed in her mind now, the laughter, the birthday parties, the moments that now felt tainted by that elusive truth. The very normalcy her mother fought to maintain seemed an illusion, a fragile wall around a festering wound. Claire's breath hitched. What life, Mom? Was any of it real? Stop. Her mother pleaded, shivering as though the shadows themselves were winding around her. Her voice trembled on the verge of breaking. I never wanted you to be burdened with this. You were supposed to be safe. Safe from what? Claire pressed, but before her mother could respond, the man interjected, his voice like a slithering serpent. It's too late for safety now. The dice have been cast, and the game has begun. All of this, the lies, the hidden truths, it comes with a price. Claire's stomach churned, a deep sense of foreboding wrapping around her like smoke. What do you want from us? Only what is due. He stepped back, a theatrical gesture, arms wide, as if he were revealing a grand design. The truth will come at a cost, Claire. Are you willing to pay it? Whatever it is, I'll pay it. Claire shouted, the heat of determination radiating from her. You say that now, he smirked, but like I said, bravery can be a foolish gamble. Just as those words left his lips, the air shifted. An ominous rumble echoed outside, blending with the fractured lights above. The diner's fluorescent bulbs began flickering erratically, shadows morphing with each electric pulse. Suddenly, a sharp sound pierced through the unmistakable shatter of glass. Gasps erupted from the patrons, and instinctively, Claire's gaze shot towards the windows, where rain pelted like 1,000 anxious hearts. What was that? The man's eyes gleamed with excitement, his demeanor shifting into one of thrill. It begins, he said, relishing the tension. You will have to figure out who your real enemies are before it's too late. I'd hurry if I were you. Before Claire could react, the door slammed open, and a figure cloaked in darkness burst inside, water streaming in with him. We have to go. He shouted, urgency etched onto his face. The diner buzzed with chaos, all eyes darting between the newly arrived figure and the man who had unraveled their reality. Claire's heart raced as fear and adrenaline surged through her, but one question consumed her: who was this new player in her already complicated game? Everyone out now. The man commanded, his voice booming. As Claire stood frozen, caught between the raging storm outside and the unfolding horror inside, the weight of everything pressed onto her chest. She felt the pull of destiny, dark and uncertain, whispering promises of revelation and revenge. She caught her mother's eye, a wanting yet pleading gaze exchanging between them. What do we do now? Claire breathed, the stakes piling higher than ever. In that moment, the ground beneath them rumbled again, a sign of the truth set to unravel. Would she follow the twisted paths of her family's secrets or seek refuge in denial? And as the diner trembled, what awaited Claire just beyond the door? Would the storm bring clarity or chaos? Claire's heart raced faster than the storm outside. The newcomer stood poised, tension radiating from him like heat, but her focus was still on her mother. She could see the storm in her mother's eyes, a whirlwind of regret, fear, and love. Mom, please, you have to tell me everything now. Claire demanded, her voice breaking through the chaos in the diner. But as she said those words, a silence fell, thick and heavy. I can't, Claire, her mother replied, anguish etched across her features. You don't understand the danger. Oh, but I do, the dark figure interjected, a smug smile curling his lips. A danger that has been barging into your life for years. But you're on the right path, Claire, you just need to follow the trail to its end. The tension crackled like the lightning flashing just outside the diner's window, illuminating the fear etched on her mother's face. Claire took a breath, falling into the maelstrom of conflicting emotions. What do you mean? Your father, he was entangled in something bigger, something dangerous, the man continued, stepping toward her. And your mother protected you by burying those facts deep. She thought if you never knew, you would be safe. Safe from what? Claire pressed, defiance sparking in her chest like flame. The diner patrons held their breaths, captivated, as if watching a drama unfold before their eyes. The truth is always a dangerous game, he replied, enjoying the turmoil. It carries consequences. Your father vanished because he became a target of those who wanted his secrets silenced forever. The words hung in the air, a thick fog of dread. Her mother flinched, her eyes darting like she was trapped inside memories she wished to forget. Then why didn't you tell me? Claire demanded. Why let me live in ignorance? Because ignorance is sometimes safer. Her mother shouted, desperation clawing at her throat. I made the choices I did for you, Claire, so you could have a normal life. Claire shook her head and stepped further away from her mother, torn between love and betrayal. Normal? Claire echoed, feeling the weight of the word crash around her. This isn't normal. At that moment, the man turned toward Claire, the glint in his eye shifting to something almost tender. What if I told you that discovering the truth could set you free? That everything you ever knew about your mother's life was a mask? Stop. Claire's voice wavered, the pieces of her world shattering around her. The flickering lights now seemed like a countdown. Time was running out. I need to know, now. What do you want from me? Your willingness to confront the abyss. A sacrifice must be made for knowledge, the man replied, coldly amused. The shadows in the room coiled, blending into the edges of her vision. Claire inhaled sharply, her body taut with resolve. I refuse to be anyone's pawn or play your sick games. If my mother has hidden something from me, then I want to know why. What do I have to do? The man smiled knowingly, and it sent a shiver down her spine. It starts with a choice. A choice that might lead to either your deliverance or devastation. I choose nothing. Claire declared, fists trembling, but her heart raced, uncertainty coursing through her veins. She turned her gaze toward her mother. I want the truth, fully and completely. Together, we can face it. Whatever it is, we'll handle it side by side. Her mother's eyes shimmered with fresh tears as she took a step forward, vulnerability painting her expression. Claire, you don't know what power the truth carries, what it could unravel. I don't care. I'm tired of running. Claire cried, determination boiling in her blood. We're stronger together than apart. The atmosphere shifted, thickening even more as the menacing figure regarded them both. Very well. Then let the truth be unveiled. With a sweep of his hand, the dim lights brightened, casting harsh illumination over the diner. But be prepared, when the darkness is lifted, not everyone will come out unscathed. As his chilling proclamation hung in the chilled air, Claire could feel the weight of her choice settling heavily on her shoulders. The precarious balance between comfort and anguish was about to tip. Just then, a crash sounded at the diner door again. This time, it swung open to reveal someone she never expected to see, a man, rugged and familiar. Claire. We need to go. Her vision swam as she recognized him. Jack. Now isn't the time for reunions. The past is coming for you. He shot a look at the dark figure as though they were well-acquainted foes. Her heart pounded, she couldn't breathe. Everything felt surreal. Jack barely had time to grasp the sentiment of the moment before she felt the tug of uncertainty again. Mom, please, Claire whispered, imploring. I need you with me. Don't let the past keep you from facing this. Her mother looked between Claire and Jack, fear clouding her expression, but determination sparked to life. I want to let you face this alone. The man smirked, the edges of his smile sharp like knives. Then let the game begin. Remember, every revelation has a cost, and every choice has consequences. I'll pay it, Claire vowed, bearing the weight of her decision like chains. As Claire stepped toward the darkness that loomed, a new wave of lightning seared across the sky, illuminating the path ahead. It was a moment of truth, a moment of reckoning. The stakes were impossibly high, but Claire felt the fire of her newfound resolve. Before they could plunge into the shadows, she raised her voice, summoning the courage within herself. No more dark corners. Let us light them up. And as thunder rumbled outside, the weight of her words resonated through the diner. The past would no longer dictate her future. Together, they would stride into the storm, ready to face whatever truths awaited in the depths of that tantalizing abyss, but before they could take the first step, a voice cracked like a whip from behind. You all will regret this. As Claire turned to face the threat, the storm intensified, but with it came an unexpected surge of clarity. Together, they would fight for their truth, and it was about time secrets faced the light. Who would stand with her, who would falter, and what would the next chapter hold? Now that the tension reached a breaking point, what awaited them just beyond the threshold? Would they rise from it or be consumed by the legacy they sought to uncover? Stay tuned to find out. You need to subscribe now so you don't miss the next exclusive story. Smash the like button now to feed the algorithm. Flood the comments section with your reactions and theories about what's coming next. And don't wait even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this conclusion.